Good morning, everyone. I figured I would take you guys along with me today as I'm doing a little vlog for a day in the life. And we're gonna play catch up because it's been a very, very long time since you and I have sat down and just chatted and talked about what's happening right now. So, first things first, before we get started with me kind of giving you updates on things, I have some really important things to do. I need to get things printed and I need to go make copies. And we all know that when you get here really early, the beauty about it is that you can make copies without any disturbances. So I'm going to unpack my bag. Let's get something printed out. I'm gonna show you what it is and then I'm gonna go make copies. Don't mind all this stuff. I had a substitute yesterday because I presented for a conference. So I also have to clean up. Okay, so I printed out the item that I need to make copies of this morning. So if you guys remember, about 4 years ago, we went to JA BizTown, which is basically like this little community where the kids will take on a job, they have to manage a checkbook. It is a really, really fun experience. But the kids are practicing with checkbooks and registers and writing checks. So we created like these little check it out pages. Well, actually, I didn't create these. Somebody who was a teacher here and then retired created them, and then I just had them saved in my Google Drive. So I got this one printed out. This is going to be another practice for them. Here's their little register, similar to the one that they're going to get, except it looks like an actual little checkbook. So we give them 2 pages of that. We give them some checkbooks or checks that they have to write out. And then we also give them some deposit slips for them to fill out. So this entire thing will help them kind of walk them through what to fill out and where. So it just creates little scenarios. Now I need to go and make copies of this. So I had to be that teacher. I had to be that teacher that left my stuff copying. It was going so slow. I'm really, really sorry. And I hate being that person that just like starts to make copies and then just leaves it to like finish. But it's probably early enough that nobody else is really here yet. So maybe I'm good. I'm gonna go back and check on it in like 5 or 10 minutes. But first, let's go ahead and get the classroom set up. I wanted to chat with you guys because one, it's been like a really, really long time. So this might be a really, really chatty video. And I apologize for that, but we have so much to catch up on. So as you guys know, at the very beginning of the year, I had to go back into like desks and rows. We were still wearing masks. There was like that whole kind of change that was going on. I think it was around like December, towards the end of December, that we were officially able to choose whether or not we wanted to wear masks. So that was a really exciting day because now I can see kids' faces. Some kids still choose to wear masks, and that is their choice, and they are welcome to make those choices. And now, just this past week, we got word that we are allowed to start grouping kids again. So I went back and forth on this a little bit. In fact, I think I didn't even switch them like the day that I found out. I was like, I'm just gonna leave them in their rows. We're gonna figure it out. And I decided that I'm not gonna put them back into groups of like 4 or 5 immediately because my worry is that they haven't been this way in 2 years and it's gonna be a hot mess for behavior management. And I'm a stickler for behavior management. I like things to be the way that I want them to be. I like order. So I decided that instead of doing the groups of 4 or 5, I'm going to do partners. So here you can see I have pairs. Let me show you a little bit better. So I have my kids grouped into pairs. And I think this is a really nice transition. I'm all about a scaffolded approach in my teaching. And so I'm gonna go with a scaffolded approach for behavior as well. So I had, this was a row initially, this was a row. All these desks here made up one long row. And then these 2 were like smaller, shorter rows. So I have everyone in pairs. Except for one desk. And I'm really, really happy with it so far. So we just started this, I want to say, it was last Thursday because we had a half day, so I started it with my homeroom on that half day. They are a little bit chattier. We're talking about it. We're having discussions about what it looks like and sounds like to be working next to somebody, but be working with them independently. Like, how do we go about doing that? And my hope is that towards like May-ish, after testing time, I can start putting them into groups of 4 or 5 to get us transitioning and used to that, so that next year we can start with tables again, which is very, very exciting. I also made this change. So you're gonna see I have my dots. These dots were originally next to each of the desks. They were right beside them. And I did that because I wanted the kids to stand there for when we were lining up. But now I have a morning meeting circle again. Well, kind of a circle, but you guys get the point. So I have to, because this little spot right here doesn't have carpet, I have to figure out a way to like tape this down. So this is essentially what it would look like. And I do have stools. I don't want to make you guys sick. I do have stools for some of my kiddos who don't like to sit on the floor. I can't offer that to all of them, but I do have some that can use them. But I'm very, very excited. I'm digging the space, guys. Really, really digging the space. So with that, I also decided to change up my little area as well. So originally I had, if you see those kind of tables that are hiding right here, I had those 2 tables like creating an L shape. I realized very quickly my 5th graders need to be like sitting at the carpet to learn. They can't sit at their desks and have a whole class like that. It just doesn't work for them. So I removed those desks, and I didn't really have anything because this short desk was over here. Now I decided that I'm using it for my space, so it's perfect. It still kind of gives me space to be able to pull a couple of kids if I need to and work with them one-on-one, which is beneficial, but it doesn't take up so much space that I lose kind of my morning meeting area, because the camera is deceiving my friends. My room is not that big, so you might think that it is, but it's not. It's not the smallest in my building, but it's also not the largest. I've got like the in-between size in my building. Okay, I need to stop jabbering and I need to get my classroom together. Here we go. Operation grab all of my copies are totally done. I did make enough for the entire Mac team. So they have their check it out practice books, and then they have the scenario that they're gonna walk through, and that is ready to go for this morning. So before I sit down, grab a cup of coffee and try to decompress from the busy morning this morning, I wanted to share one other little update that I did in the classroom that I've been loving. And it took me a while to jump on this, but I have seen so many teachers, and please excuse my baby hairs, they're horrible. But I've seen so many teachers who have like this remote that turns on all their lights instead of having to walk around. Y'all know how I used to do it. I used to walk around and like turn all my lights on. I don't have that anymore. Now I have this little remote, I feel like Vanna, that turns on all my lights for me, which I'm really stoked about. So I have one there, and then it came with a second one, which is this one. And I like this one because it's not one button to turn all of them on. You have to do each one individually. But I like this one because there are certain times that I turn off certain lights, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I can, one will turn on that light. Two, we'll turn on that one. 3, 4, and 5. So all of them are turned on. I love this. The kids love it too. They think it's pretty cool. So it's really nice just being able to turn them on off, all on in the mornings, and then turn them all off. I have my morning message ready to go. I did go with a little bit of St. Patrick's green here to make it a little bit more festive. So my morning message is ready to go. I have my date changed because I wasn't here yesterday to do that. And so now I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time cleaning everything up. Ignore that over there. I do that for my audio so that you guys don't hear the the whole time. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time just cleaning things up. I'm gonna catch you guys up a little bit later on, probably during my lunchtime, on some of the things that we're doing in the classroom. See you then. So one of the things that I always try to do is that if I have a sub, I tell my students that if we have a really, really good day, I know I'm sorry about the darkness. Let me put this light on. Okay, a little bit better. I look a little washed out. But if we have a really good day, then the kids will get a pride ticket. So we have something called pride tickets for our building, and it's kind of like the whole like reward system for the entire school. They did a really great job. Like they all got compliments in every single block. I had one little thing that I have to kind of take care of this morning, but it doesn't seem to be too bad as I was looking over my notes. So I'm going to pretend that I'm super famous and sign my initials at the bottom and then hand these all out by putting them on their desk this morning. Okay, so the kids are out at lunch right now, and I'm gonna heat up my food in just a little bit, but I wanted to catch you guys up. This morning went really well. We had, instead of morning meeting, 2 days a week, we do something called Win Time. It's what I need. And so the kids were really focusing on makeup work that they had to make up, and then they were also doing their third check it out that I printed this morning. So I was grading some of the previous ones, handing those back, talking to them about corrections, and then just really helping kids a lot this morning. So very, very busy morning. From there, I met with my block 1, which are my 5th graders. We are starting research, which is very exciting. We're going to be doing a wax museum, and so today was the first lesson. They actually had started it yesterday with the sub, but they didn't get to finish the article. So I finished reading the article. I'm doing Henry Ford as my kind of person to show and guide them through the process. And so the kids were really working on vocabulary. And one of the things that I was really focusing on them with is that we're talking about dissecting words. And so with vocabulary, we look for the vowels by circling them. We listen for the syllables, and then we look for any blends, diagraphs, anything like that, prefixes, suffixes, Greek, Latin roots. And so we just kind of go through, you can kind of see that here. We just kind of go through and do some of this together. I only did one with them today. I did it on my whiteboard, and then they had to do the other 2 on their own because I wanted to see if they could do it. We've done this for now, I think 6 weeks where we've been doing it together. So this was gonna be like the first unit where I was gonna make them try to do it on their own to see what they could come up with. So that was kind of the focus for that. My kids had chorus, so 5th grade had to go in like the middle of my block 1, so they're gonna have to finish it on their own. I could always pull them tomorrow morning if I have to, but we'll see from there. And then now it's lunch. After lunch, we're gonna go into content. The kids have been writing applications. I'm not gonna show you the whole application, but they've been writing applications for JA BizTown. And so today I checked off those applications, reviewed them. They're going to do a final version of this written in pen. So we have like a colored version where they will write it out in pen, and they're going to use this for their interviews next week. Interviews next week. The kids also, yesterday, were working on like an interview practice. So these were some questions, and they had to come up with some things that they were how they were going to respond to each of the questions. So now I'm going to review this with them a little bit later on this afternoon so that they can be prepared for like mock interviews tomorrow, where that's what we're going to practice tomorrow. So lots of fun stuff. I'm going to be meeting with the kiddos who are going to potentially be mayors. I have something that was also provided by JA. So that's what this looks like. It's just for their speech writing tips. So it's going to guide them along with writing their speech, because after interviews on Tuesday next week, Wednesday, they're going to have their election. which is all very exciting. So really good day, start to the day. I am starving right now, so I'm gonna go make my food. I eat the same thing every time, but I'll still show it to you. So I'm gonna have an Amy's Bowls. I call it Annie's. It's Amy's Bowls. I like the 3 cheese kale bake. I will have a Diet Coke. I will also have some picante sauce, paste picante. That's terrible. With these. Oh, these are so good. And that's really just gonna make up my lunch. That's basically it. It is the end of the day and I am exhausted. It has been a very, very busy day. If you have JA BizTown in your area and either a grade level goes or you go, you know that leading up to the day of the field trip, it's a lot going on between interviews and then elections and then business prep, like biz prep for it. It's just a lot of work. So we've been going through all of the different things. Today, the kids started writing their applications in pen, so we made some corrections to them. They're completing their final application for the interviews next week. We also talked about some of the interview questions that we had, and then kind of giving them an example of what an interview would look like. So one of the things that they have is a citizen guide, and this is kind of the citizen guide on my iPad here. I apologize for the reflection. That's just the lights above. But in this, they give us kind of the making the right impression. So we talked about each of the questions. We walked through what it looks like. Tomorrow, we're going to go through the job interview evaluation form, the greeting, body language, all of that. And they're going to kind of grade each other with partners. So they're going to complete that piece of it. So that's what we've been working through. They also had the application, which I'll show you that. Here's what the application looks like. And then we also wrote a resume, which this is what their resume looks like. So I'm feeling really good about that. I'm just glad that we're getting to the point where interviews are going to be done. I did make some copies for some things that we're going to have for next week for interviews. So the person who is interviewing, which is going to be an adult, so it's either an administrator, a teacher, an assistant, or a parent who is going to interview all of the kids. We have about 5 desks that we'll have set up out there, and they'll go through the entire interview process. So I wanted to show you what that form looks like. Here is the interview response form. So the person interviewing will put their name here, the citizen's name, that's the student, the 3 job choices, which they'll get from their application, and then they're gonna rate them on each of these different qualities or criteria here. On the back are the interview questions. So here you can see there are 7 simple questions that they're going to be asked. The interviewer will just kind of jot some notes on their response and then give them their scores here. So like I said, I'm feeling really, really good about it. I think we are making great progress. It is just gonna be smooth sailing once we get past that point and all the kids are placed in their jobs. For my second block, we are also starting research. I feel like I did a terrible job timing this all out, research and JA BizTown at the same time. It's driving me crazy. But the kids today during my block 2 got to start figuring out who they want to choose for their historical wax figure museum. Now I say historical, it's not historical. I probably should have reworded that. It's just a wax figure museum. The people can be alive, and I told them that. So here's what the organizer that they completed looks like. So on the organizer, again, I should not have put that. I should have just put a wax figure museum. But they had 3 different areas. So we're kind of tying it to JA BizTown. We have entertainment, authors, and entrepreneur. Didn't really know how to spell it. So, oh, don't judge me. So I put down like some different examples for each of them here. And then at the very end, the kids have to determine who is it that they pick from the list of people that they brainstormed. So some kids are already submitting, but others are still kind of working and figuring out who is it that they want to choose at the very end of this. I also pulled out my folders. If you guys have been following me since last year, then you know I like to use folders to organize all of their research cards and everything. So I have the 2 folders for my 2 different ELA blocks. So this will be my 6th graders, this will be for my 5th graders, and they're going to place all of their information on the inside. So I'm getting things together, which feels good. And then this is the application that the kids filled out today. which is really nice. So I am exhausted, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and end this vlog here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this little catch up. I feel a little rusty, but it's okay. I think we're gonna make it. Let me know how you guys are doing. I just wanna catch up with you, like what's going on right now? What are you teaching? Are you excited, nervous about something? Or is testing coming up for you? There's so many different things that are happening, I feel like. Just leave those down in the comments. I'll be looking for them. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. I'll be back every single week now, so I will catch you all next Sunday, okay? Bye.